Hi there, welcome back to the Cordless Vacuum Guide, and in this review, we'll be looking at one of the least expensive self-emptying robot vacuums on the market, the Ultenic D7. This variant is Ultenic's latest product and their second auto-empty robot vacuum after the T10. Most decent performing self-emptying robot vacuums will cost in the mid-3 to low 4 figures. Finding one below that threshold would entail compromises in some areas. And the question is, does the D7 have these compromises, or is it at par with the household names? I've put this product through my usual series of tests to find out. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. The Ultenic D7 is one of the least expensive auto-empty robot vacuums available right now. It retains the same self-emptying dock as a T10 with a vertical port. But one significant difference is its navigation. Unlike the T10 that uses slider, the D7 relies on a gyroscope as its primary navigational sensor, which is a big reason why it's cheaper. It moves in straight lines, but it cannot save maps, which is one of the compromises consumers will have to consider with this product. Since it cannot save maps, it lacks in-app containment features more expensive options have, like invisible wall or no-go zones. Instead, it relies on these two magnetic strips to block it from going into off-limit areas. It's helpful to an extent, but this technology is old with limited reach, as it only has enough length to block the doorway. The D7 has the same round frame as a T10, but without a puck-shaped LiDAR cover, since it doesn't have a laser sensor. It has a generous size 3.75 liter bag to offset the smallish 280 ml dustbin. This capacity is one of the larger ones in the industry versus other brands. Underneath, it has a standard robot vacuum layout with one side brush and a combo brush to pick up debris. This brings me to the first thing I like about this product, which is hard floor performance. The Ultenic D7 scored high marks on most hard floor tests despite the below average airflow, but it struggled somewhat to pick up large piles cleanly initially, but it got most of it with the succeeding passes. You could see this pro in play during the coverage test, where it picked up nearly everything after the first pass. However, it struggled with heavier debris like sand and pet litter, which was expected because of the low airflow. The absence of the LiDAR cover lowers its overall height to below 3 inches, enabling it to go underneath low-clearance furniture like this bed. If you have beds like this, you'd know it's a hot spot for dust to accumulate. So having a robot low enough to reach these spots can be helpful to prevent debris from building up excessively. The D7 navigation is surprisingly thorough thanks to this deep cleaning option, which we'll look at in a bit in the app section of this video. The next pro is the extra large 3.75 liter bag that can hold up to 60 days worth of debris. But please note, this figure isn't written in stone as it can be more or less than 60 days, depending on the environment, usage, and other factors. Runtime is another pro with a claimed figure of 150 minutes, but that's at the lowest setting. The figure will go down using a higher power setting. One plus of the weak motor is the lower noise levels. The D7 only maxed out at 65.9 decibels, which isn't too loud compared to other brands. Lastly is the price. The Ultenic D7 is one of the cheaper self-emptying robot vacuums I've tested, roughly at the same level as the Roomba 694 I tested previously, but with an auto-empty base station and smart navigation. Next, we'll look at the not so good points, starting with its low airflow. I used an anemometer to check airflow, and it registered a max of 12.75 CFM at the max setting. This below average airflow is the primary reason why the D7 didn't do as well on carpet. It picked up decently with light surface debris like quinoa, but struggled with fine ones like coffee grounds or heavier debris like pet litter. But the most obvious sign of its weak airflow is the poor results in a deep cleaning test, where it picked up an average of only 40.45%. These results show that a D7 isn't a great option on carpet. The weak airflow also hampers its performance on hair. I tested the D7 on 5-inch strands and it only picked up 14%, so I didn't bother doing the 7-inch test. The lack of slam or LiDAR limits the D7 navigational features. Yes, it can move in straight lines, but it doesn't have in-app containment features like an invisible wall or keep-out zones. This means you'll have to use this magnetic strip to block off-limit areas. The auto-empty dock's vertical port is another potential sticking point since it relies on a flat, solid surface to maintain alignment. It's not usable on uneven surfaces like carpet, which can knock off the port alignment and cause debris to spill. While the D7 can also mop floors, it's limited to what it can clean. It won't pick up liquid, nor does it have an active agitation system, but only drags a damp pad. I tested it on red wine stains, and you could see the limitations on this clip. It cleared most of the stains, but it left a lot of residue that I need to mop afterward. I wouldn't recommend this on huge messes like this, but only light-duty tasks. Lastly, the Ultenic app cannot save maps, and the map drawn isn't very useful because it's too small and there's no practical use for it. The D7 app has decent usability once you've connected it to the robot. It has basic features essential for robot vacuum usage like scheduling, various cleaning modes like deep, edge, spot, and mop. Deep is its most thorough navigation pattern, and I'd recommend it if you need more meticulous vacuuming. Edge focuses exclusively on the edges, while spot cleans a fixed area. The mop function turns off the vacuum motor and focuses on mopping floors. But don't forget to fill the water tank and attach the mop pad behind the robot. You can schedule it to clean multiple times per day, and it's compatible with Alexa for those who prefer to use voice. Overall, the Ultenic D7 is a decent, cheap, self-emptying robot vacuum, but only for hard floors. Its lack of airflow and vertical port make it less ideal on carpet. Also, the low airflow means it will struggle with heavy debris like sand and pet litter, but it does much better on lighter debris. If you don't mind the lack of an in-app containment or its navigational limitations, the D7 can be a decent option for consumers looking for a budget self-emptying robot vacuum for cleaning hard floors. But don't expect high-end cleaning performance or any of the premium stuff. If you've made it this far, I'd like to say thank you and consider giving this video a thumbs up if it's been helpful to you. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I publish new reviews like this. Links are in the description below for more information. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.